Hey guys, Quick here. I'm gonna make a quick little video today about the Xenoblade Chronicles series cast. And this is gonna be split into 3 videos. I'm gonna make a tier list for the main cast of each of the games. And we're gonna start off with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So I think maybe some of you might remember I did a top 10, my personal favorite top 10 Xenoblade Chronicles characters list. I did a top 10 list, I would say probably a month or so before Xenoblade 3 came out. Since then, things have changed, opinions have changed. I may like some characters which I didn't like before, vice versa. So I kind of wanted to do this just for fun. And yeah, let's start off with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Alright, where do I start? Let's start with like the main cast of characters first. Shulk. Shulk was not in my top 5, but he was in the top 10. I'll say that. I'll put him in either A or B, cannot choose right now. We'll put him in A tier. Shulk is a good protagonist. I enjoy him a lot. Very good character growth. He's a great protagonist, and I've appreciated him more throughout my time as a fan of the series, and just seeing him start off as a very angry, vengeful kind of guy to coming to understand more of what's going on with the world by the end of the game. It's a nice kind of character progression. Ryan was not in my top 10, unfortunately, but that does not discount or does not take away how wholesome, great of a character he is. I'll put Ryan in B tier. It'll eventually probably be somewhat of a mid to low B tier, but Ryan is there. I think each of the 3 Xenoblades have that kind of goofy best friend character. Ryan is my least favorite out of those, but he's still very great, very wholesome kind of guy, very supportive. We all need a Ryan in our lives. And what's interesting is Takahashi's original idea for Xenoblade 1 was for Ryan to turn out to be the villain. Not the villain, but one of the villains of the game. Very glad that didn't happen. Very glad. And yeah, he's just a really wholesome, kind of supportive best friend guy. And I also like his banter and later on more developed relationship with Charla as well. That was nice to see. Their conversation on the Fallen Arm was nice too. His kind of struggle with what his purpose is in this whole journey that they're going on. I enjoyed that. All right, Fiora. It's down to B or C. I will say this, when I first played the game, I really liked Fiora. And I don't dislike her. I'll put her in high C. Fiora is good in the sense that she is very integral and important to setting up the narrative in the story. And there is a big complaint amongst the community that when she comes back as a Mechon, there's not much that she does in terms of her purpose and her role within the party. I slightly disagree in the sense that she has that kind of, I wouldn't say split personality, but she shares the memories of Maineth. So through that, the party understands the Mechanists, and of course the Machina themselves. They couldn't have done that without Fiora. Is she a plot device? Sort of. And near the end of the game, she's just like, I fight for Shulk, and Shulk this, Shulk that. That was a little annoying, but I think they handled her character pretty well in the end. I think pretty decent, but maybe not the best out of the main party, unfortunately. Let's see, Charla or Dunban? I'll do Charla next. Charla I'll actually put under Fiora. Sorry, Charla. I would also defend Charla, say, hey, not that bad of a character, but I kind of do see where people are coming from. Her arc sort of does fall off after like the first part of the game when you rescue Juju and all that. Once Melia comes into the fray, like, Charla is just kind of on the sidelines. But Charla has some very interesting side banter, side conversations and stuff with characters like Melia, Dunban, Shulk, Rhine, especially Rhine. I like this one interaction she has with Melia, because like she knows that Melia has a lot of feelings for Shulk, and she kind of feels a little sad that Shulk only has eyes for Fiora and not her. So near the end of the game, she's like, hey, how are you feeling about this? You need any advice or anything? And Melia's like, I've come to terms that Shulk will probably not be the guy for me, but thank you for being there for me. And she's like, she's just like a nice, supportive older sister. So I like that about Charla a lot. Yeah. Dunban. I'll put Dunban in high B or A. It's tough. I'll put Dunban in low A. Dunban is wholesome, great mentor, great supportive character. And he's, you could say that Melia is like the brains of the group, but Dunban is more of like the logical brains of the group. And he's always logical, always headstrong, always kind of getting people into the groove of things and getting people like to kind of focus and stay on the right mindset. So I like that. But on top of that, Dunban also has his shortcomings, his moments of how do I say this? His moments of anger, I guess I can just say that. I really like his interactions with Mumkar, especially because with Mumkar, he's like, when he figures out who Metalface is, you can see like a change in mentality in Dunban. He's a little more vengeful, a little more angry, and because like he's caused him so much harm, he's destroyed his entire town, he's basically killed his sister. His sister doesn't even remember him anymore at that point in the story. So all Dunban wants to do is kill this guy, but like with Shulk's kind of, I don't know, his guidance, his advice, his powerful words to Dunban, he realizes that this isn't the way to go. I like that scene a lot. I talk about it more in my video, my top 10 list, but I like that moment a lot because it kind of, you see that change in Dunban. You see him kind of reach his breaking point. So he's not all like good guy Dunban the entire time. So it's got some development to him there. Let's see who's next. Main party. Melia, of course. Melia S tier. That was easy. I put Melia as number 1 in my top 10 list of Xenoblade Chronicles characters. Could say she's still there. Because I think next to Shulk, she has the most character development in the game. And then you also have Future Connected as well, which develops her a little more. And people are like, not so much, kind of. Well, I say that Melia goes through a lot in the game. She loses her comrades, she loses her father, she loses her brother, she loses her entire people, her High Entia, most of the High Entia race. She loses everyone that she loves and cares about and trusts, and all she has basically left is her friends, Shulk, Ryan, Fiora, Charlotte, Dunban, Ricky, all those people. And then she has Tyrea in the end. So it's kind of interesting seeing how she loses so much, yet she has so much to fight for, and so much to kind of take back from what the Mechon did, for what Zanza did, for what some of the traitors to her family did. So like she starts off as a kind of, I kind of like how Melia starts off as very like hi-fi prim and proper. She's like, oh, I'm too good for you guys. By the end of the game, she's like, I've learned so much throughout this journey. I'm that much of a better person now, better kind of individual. And like Future Connected goes from Melia has learned so much, but how can she grow even more to become the rightful empress of the Hyentia? So that was pretty cool. Ricky Low C. Sorry. Ricky's not bad, he's just kind of there sometimes. He only had like 2 good moments in the game when he has that nice conversation with Dunban. He had a nice moment with Melia after she saw Callian one last time before he passed away. So that was a nice wholesome moment as well. There's not much to say about Ricky. I think there's more to say about Ricky's kids. So I'll go on to Ricky's kids now, Kino and Nene. Kino in high C. And the reason I put him in the high C tier is because Kino, I see him as like a Ricky Jr. He's always like, oh, I want to be the next hero pawn. I want to be as cool as my dad. I like that about Kino a lot. But yeah, Kino, I enjoyed him. Nice character. Nene, I'll put her at low B. She has a lot of cool, heart-to-hearts with Melia, with her brother, with Shulk. I think the funniest was when there was a heart-to-heart with Tyrea and Melia, and they get into this heated argument, like they're so mad at each other, and then Nene comes out and kind of like is the mediator to this kind of heated argument. So I kind of like that. That was nice to see. Yeah, Nene, I'll put her in low B. Juju D tier. Sorry, not a fan. Juju. Don't want to talk about that too much. Dixon. I'll do Mumkar first. Mumkar, I'll put him in mid B. Mid? Can I put him in mid? Yeah, there. I'll put him in mid B. I like him as a villain. I like how he's menacing and kind of like he's got that kind of like scary, menacing villain vibe, kind of like D in Xenoblade 3. But and I like his connection to the party, because you're like, why is he going after these guys so much? And then you realize that he was Dunban's comrade. You realize he wants the Monado for himself. You realize all that jealousy that's coming from him. So I like Mumkar. Maybe not my favorite villain in the series or in the game itself. You'll see later. But he's not bad. Some of these people, I have no idea where to put them. Tharon, I'll put him in high D. Like, I don't hate him as much as I hate Juju, but he's just kind of there. Same with Gado. Put him in mid B, I guess. I'm sorry. It looks like all the Colony 6 people are down here. I'm sorry to do that to them specifically. Let's see. Oh, Gelgar. I'll put him in even lower than. Maybe it's not as low as a Juju. I'll put him lower than Juju. Gelgar was not a good villain. I had a little more hopes for him than just being that kind of weird, like one-off, one-note villain. Whatever. Okay, let's go back to some more important characters. Alvis. Should I put Alvis in high A or S? That is tough. decision. Put him in high A. Albus is cool. Albus doesn't develop as a character because he's not really supposed to. His role isn't really to develop as a character. He's more of a lore dump character, more of an exposition character, but he's done very well because of how mysterious his identity is. And I think that was done very well. You're always questioning, who is this guy? What is he doing? What is he here for? What is he like? What's his purpose in all of this? And when you figure out who he is at the end, it's so much cooler. And then when you beat Xenoblade 2 and you figure out who he really is, that's an even bigger revelation and makes you appreciate him so much more. So Albus, high A. Dixon's tough. I don't know where to put Dixon. I'll put him somewhere in C. I'll put him in high C, because you kind of enjoy his kind of banter and his kind of character throughout the journey, and his foreshadowing's there. Like you see the foreshadowing, you hear it, you experience it a lot, so like you kind of know what's coming. But by the end of it, I didn't like that he was just like, Zanza tells me what he wants to do and I do it. I was hoping there was more of like a purpose behind the Zanza Trinity, but there really wasn't. Speaking of the Zanza Trinity, Lorithia is also part of it. Now put her kind of low. Yeah, that Zanza Trinity was not so good, except for Albus, who's at the top. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Lorithia. Not very interesting character. Dixon's more interesting, but that's not saying much. Zanza I'll put in B. Everyone's gonna be like, what's going on? But here's the thing. I like that Zanza was a part of Shulk the entire time. You can like see it so early in the game. He's influencing a lot of his decisions. So when you kind of realize that, Zanza's presence was there from the very beginning of the game, and that's pretty cool. I like that. How it's so kind of like, it kind of recontextualizes the events of the narrative, if that makes sense. And it's cool. And even though he just like pops up at the end, I think the build-up was there, and it is, I don't know, it may be predictable, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Tyrea, tough. Yeah, I'll put her in B right here. I think in between Mumkar and Rhine. Tyrea is cool, and for those who didn't do that extra side quest, like seeing her in Future Connected might have thrown you off, and it kind of did for me because I didn't do that side quest, but I looked it up a little later before starting Future Connected, so that kind of helped me bridge the gap between 1 and Future Connected. And it's really cool how Tyrea goes from hating Melia so much, being so jealous of everything that she is, to being not only a sister but like a confidant and like a, I don't know what her role truly is, but she's like the second in command, like the hand to the queen, sort of. So I like how Tyrea kind of progressed to that kind of a role. And a lot of her heart-to-hearts with Melia and Future Connected are very nice. Very wholesome conversations and dialogue there. Maineth? I don't know. I'll put Maineth next to Fiora because they're almost basically the same, I guess. There's not much to say. Fiora is like a vessel for Maineth, so there's that. And she's a better god than Zanza, but Zanza has more of a role in the story, I guess. Okay, let's talk about... should I leave Ego for last? Yeah, I'll leave Ego for last. Teelin. I have no clue where to put Teelin. Sorry, dude. No clue where to put you. Not a bad character. I'll just plop him in here somewhere. I'll put him in here. There. Not a bad character, he's just kind of there. I'll put him at the bottom of C. Ricky has more to do than T-Lin. Yeah, he might go higher if we see the results of his high NTO research. We'll see. Emperor Sorion of the high NTO. Put him in... I'll put him right here. This is a pretty good character. Not very much to say. Very, very good father. Very good father figure to his daughter. Very supportive. Callian, I'll put him right here. Callian's cool because you see his distrust in Shulk and everyone initially, but then he kind of realizes, like, these are like my sister's friends, these are people who could really help us in this trying time of conflict. So he puts his faith in them, and yeah, he just wants the best for his sister, he wants the best for his people, but he unfortunately got caught up in a lot of unfortunate situations. And the last character is Egil, S tier, one of my favorite villains in all of Xenoblade Chronicles, the series. Egil was number 2 on my top 10 list, and now he's up here on S tier. I don't know if he's still my number 2 favorite character in the series, but he's one of my favorite villains of all time. I love his attitude, I love his presence, his energy, his dialogue. His dialogue is great, and I just love his whole character arc. He was a very wholesome, very profound, prophetic guy back in the day, and then a lot of what he loved and cared about was taken from him, his best friend, his people, and then he just turns into this vengeful, angry, resentful guy. And of course Shulk gets him to see his wrongdoings. So yeah, and he dies a hero, of course. Yeah. This went on way longer than I expected it to. I'm gonna cut some of it down. But yeah, there is my first part of this tier list video. The ranking the characters of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, not just Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So yeah, stick around for more content like this. I'll be doing one on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3. If you like the video, please like, give it a subscribe. If you like this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and stick around for more videos on the way. See you guys in the next one.